Welcome to the KDFL Fantasy Football Podcast. It's me, Brett Steele, and I'm joined, as always, by Mr. Jonathan Detroit Haynes. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up? And also joining us and is going to give us the layout of today's show, Mr. Phil Ruxey. Take it away, Phil.
Hey, Brett, how's it going? Yeah, today we're going to get into what we're going to call a thing called in and out. We're going to name off a player from each of our fantasy teams and decide whether we think they're going to finish above a certain position or below a certain position. So we're just going to go through that. And then we're going to get into our week one predictions for our fantasy football league.
Okay. So what we did, we took a NFL player from each of the 12 participants in the KDFL, and we're going to kind of discuss a ranking for them, where we think they'll finish, and we have a line set. So going to have to be on one side or the other here, and we'll go ahead and start it off with Kenyon Drake of the Roxland Renegades. Over under, and I'll go to Phil first, or Detroit first, and then Phil, and then myself. So Kenyon Drake over under, finishing higher than running back number 9. So 9.5 is the line on Kenyon Drake. Go ahead, Detroit.
Yeah, so basically we're just saying if we think he's going to be a top 10 running back, and he is the number one back there in Arizona. But I think their quarterback Murray takes a lot of rushes away. I think he runs a lot. So Drake, while he's a good running back, well, I guess he's a good running back, I don't see him being a top 10 running back. I see him more like a top 15. I don't think he's going to get enough carries to be a top 10 running back, but we shall see.
Yeah, Phil, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much agreed. I put him at 12. I think he's going to be outside of the top 10. When I saw 9.5, I thought that was pretty high anyways. I just think there's a lot of other good backs in front of him. I think Jacobs actually is going to have a pretty good season. So I actually put him up above Drake in this, up in the top 10 actually. Then of course you got all the guys up at the top, McCaffrey of course, but
Right. I'm out on Drake finishing in the top 10 as well. I know he was strong for Arizona when he got there last year, but I need to see a little bit more from him to really put him there. I know he'll have a great opportunity with that offense, but we'll see. I can't get my head around him being a top 10 running back, so
no.
I am also out on Kenyon Drake finishing inside the top 10. So our first one up, our first consensus. Took some time to crap on the Roxland Renegades there. So off to a good start. Now, next up, we have DJ Chark of the Marmot Midnight Riders. Set the line at 17.5. So, Detroit, take it away with your thoughts on here.
Well, I mean, he had 73 catches last year and over 1,000 yards, and he had 8 touchdowns. Oh, wait, now I'm sounding like Phil. We're reading off all these stats here. But he had a surprising really good year last year. 17.5, I don't know. That's still kind of high when you got Minshew as your quarterback. Mm-hmm. I see him more top 25 kind of guy, so I'm going to say he's not going to be a top 17 receiver.
All right, Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, same thing. I actually had him out, and Detroit said top 25. I put him right at 25, actually, in my rankings. There's just a lot of good receivers out there. And as he said, with Minshew at quarterback, I mean, he had some good moments last year, but you don't really know what you're going to get out of him. He's probably more of a backup than anything. So, and then I don't know if he can repeat the 8 touchdowns from last year, but we'll see. But I don't think he's a top 17 receiver.
Yeah. This is an interesting case. It's going to be a very strange year for DJ Chark. I will say the game scripts are probably going to go his way. We all have Jacksonville having a tough year, so they're going to be trailing a lot. So you would think that he's going to get a lot of opportunity. But wide receiver is so deep this year.
Yeah.
For him as a top 17, it seems like a bit of a stretch to me. So I'm also out on DJ Chark finishing inside the top 17 wide receivers. So that's 2 up, 2 consensus, and 2 players we are out on. So next up, we're going to go to the Dogtown Dobermans and quarterback rookie Joe Burrow. The line is set at 16.5. obvious reasons there. Do we think he's going to be in the top half of fantasy QBs this year? So, starting QBs. So, take it away, Detroit.
Well, when I first was looking at this, I'm like, dude, is a rookie quarterback really going to be in the top half of fantasy? I mean, you don't see that often. But, however, I'm really starting to like their team. I like Mixon a lot coming out of the backfield. He'll catch a lot of passes. I like that they drafted T. Higgins, and they still got A.J. Green on that team if he can stay healthy. I'm going to go with the surprising here. I think he's going to be about 15. So I think he's going to be top 15 quarterback. Fantasy
right in there. Yeah, they're right in there. All right, Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I want to put him up there, but I just don't see it. I mean, I think he's going to have some ups and downs, and he's going to have some good weeks. I think he'll probably finish in the top 10 a few weeks out of the season. But in the end, I think I have him down at around 22 at the end of the season. So I think I have him out of the top 16 and a half.
Well, at least we don't all agree on this one as well. So I actually do have Burrow inside the top 16. And I think it's going to be because that offense is going to be in a lot of favorable game scripts as well, just like DJ Chark. They're going to be trailing often, you would think, and they do have the weapons. Weapons and a lack of defense typically spells good for fantasy production. And I think this is Joe Burrow is going to be a prime garbage time candidate, where he's going to get a lot of those points. You may be going into the third quarter and he has 10 or 11 points, and he just throws on another 14 right there. So yeah, I do have him inside the top 16. So next up, this is one that's going to be a little bit of fun here because it was the subject of a trade in our league right before the draft. The Hurricane Wampus Cats, and they have running back Le'Veon Bell set the over-under at running back 16.5. So top 16 running backs for Le'Veon. Detroit, what do you see here?
I'm going with him. Absolutely not. I know that the Jets don't have anybody really on their team for offensive weapon-wise. I'm not a big Le'Veon Bell guy anyways. I don't like the system that he's in. I mean, if you don't have anyone to open up the wide receivers and throw the ball down the field, they're just going to stack the line against you anyways. So I don't see him being – I don't think he's going to be a top 20 running back.
Bill, what do you Bill, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I have him right at the border, but I actually have him in at 15. I think he's pretty much the entire Jets offense. I mean, he's going to have to get the ball a ton. If he can stay healthy, I don't see any reason why he couldn't get top 15. I know he's getting older, but I think he's still kind of fresh where he missed that season. So, I don't know. I think he can crack the top 15.
So I very TD touchdown deprived last year. I think he only had four touchdowns on the ground. So I don't think that'll hold true this year. I think he'll get a lot more chances to get in the end zone. I am in on him being a top 16 running back. I do think that the only hindrance is Adam Gase. And if Adam Gase wasn't here, I'd be in on him being RB1, so top 12. But also think with Le'Veon Bell that the stigma that he's old or he's getting up there. He's only 28, I believe. Could be wrong on that age, but I think he's only 28. And remember, he has a whole year off. So NFL age 27. So we'll see. But that is kind of a one-man show in New York as far as offensive production. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch as well. Next up, the team that traded away Le'Veon Bell, the Kanawha County Kings, and they have wide receiver Michael Gallup. The line is set at 24.5, so obviously wide receiver 2 or greater. So Detroit, what do you see here with Gallup?
I definitely see Gallup having a big year, so I'm going to say he's going to be a top 25 receiver. I think he's actually going to outperform Cooper this year. So I definitely think he's going to be probably around top 20. I think the Cowboys are going to be really good. They've got enough weapons there. So I think there's going to be enough balls to spread around. So I definitely think he'll be top 20.
All right, Phil, what do you see in terms of Gallup?
All right, well, let me go ahead and piss Tim off. I have him out down at 27. I just like a lot of other receivers more. I mean, I can't really explain it, but I just have him farther down the list. I think the wide receiver pool is just so good this year.
Phil said, I just can't explain my random hatred of Tim and all things Tim. Tim is the new Mike this year.
Yeah, I couldn't explain Mike last
The
year,
Phil,
so
the Phil's, the Phil's ire is the lasers pointed at Tim's team now, and the Marmot Midnight Riders are skipping the bill now. So, Kanawha County Kings, Michael Gallup, I am out on him being the top 24 wide receiver, but it's not based on his talent. I think he's incredibly talented. I do think he may take a decent step forward, but there's just, to me, there's too many options in that offense. It's, I mean, it will get divvied up too much. If they have some injuries, like Cooper kind of always seems to have a little nagging thing here and there. If they do have any type of substantial injuries to their passing attack, I think Gallup could easily get there. But there are so many mouths to feed in Dallas that I have to have him barely on the outside in my rankings there. So, all right, these just keep getting more and more fun. So we're going to go to the Poker Pharmacist and quarterback Tom Brady. We have set the line at over under 7.5. So will Tom Brady be a top 7 quarterback in fantasy this year? Go ahead, Detroit.
Ooh, well, my love for Tom Brady. I mean, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest. I know by me just saying that over and over, I know Matt watching and Clark watching this right this minute that they're just going nuts. They want to punch me in the face. So, with that said, 7.5, that's pretty tough. I know he's got a lot of weapons. I do think that they're going to be really good. So I'm going to say, yeah, he's going to finish 7th.
Good Lord. Right at 7?
Right at 7.
Bill, what do you see here? You're Tampa Bay lover as well, you.
I mean, obviously I have to have him in, right, with my Tampa Bay Super Bowl pick. And I do. I have him at 6, so I'm in on Tom Brady. I mean, I've said it like many times. He has so many weapons this time. It's ridiculous. I know he's old, but if he could just get the ball out, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, if they can protect him, I can see him putting up huge numbers.
Can you give me – do you guys have Phil, do you have actual rankings or not?
Yeah, I do.
Who is right after him? Give me like the next 2 or 3 you have right after him.
I have Murray, Ryan, and Stafford.
Okay, see, I think Homer, whatever, take him out of it. I think Stafford's going to and we don't have Stafford right now. I think Stafford's going to blow him out of the water. But, okay,
that's you have him in the playoffs. That's why. So
I do line surrogate this year for some reason.
Well, the lines are going to be behind a lot, so of course he's going to
right, that too. Now, I am going to be the lone wolf here. I am out on him finishing the top 7. The hype train here in Tampa it's got nuts. This is a ridiculous amount of love going to this team. Now we're getting the Eagles' dream team comparisons now, although I do think this team is a lot more talented than that one was.
have you looked at the roster? I mean,
he's still old as dirt, and he doesn't have nearly a deep ball anymore. Mike Evans can run 40 yards down the field all he wants. That ball's not getting there very well. I would not be surprised if Brady finishes outside the top 12. I'll promise you.
Wow.
Would not be surprised if he was.
Brady's been known for throwing the ball down the field all the time, anyways. I mean, they won many Super Bowls dinking and dunking. So
we'll see, but I would not be surprised if he's outside the top 12. Could be inherent Brady hate. I don't know, but that's what I have. Now, here we go, boys. Next up, Montrez Mega Powers, Atlanta running back Todd Gurley. We have set the line. This is a specific line to where he finished last year, which a lot of people don't think he was that high. 15.5 is the line. So do you think he'll stay where he was or better last year or get significantly worse? I'm going to switch it up right here because we have something else. Phil, go ahead and go on yours here.
I'm out on Gurley. I don't think he's going to finish in the top 15. I have him at 17, so just missing. But honestly, even then, I wasn't too confident with that pick. I think he could be even lower than that. He's just not what he once was, so I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Phil.
Yeah.
I think he finishes outside the top 20. I don't know which Todd Gurley are we getting. I know he finished in the top 15 last year, but you saw him run. Did he look like a good runner last year? No. So I don't know what's up with that. Why did the Rams give up on him? So I'm gonna say no, he's not finishing. And that is Atlanta really? I mean, are they gonna be a good team?
Yep.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Here's the deal. Most people would say he had a down year last year, and he still finished in the running back 15. I think that's a very sneaky stat. I don't think
Who's saying that though?
If you ask the average person, I think they would think he was already outside the top 24 last year, and running back 15 is a substantial fantasy value, and he's going to get a lot more opportunity in Atlanta. Of course, I'm in on him finishing inside the top 15.
What did he finish the year before that?
No, but, right, well, okay, here's one thing with him. To me, it has nothing to do with his talent. I have no doubt that he is going to be talented enough. And we're going to do a little wager now. Me and Detroit have a wager for this. Gurley inside the top 15 if the bet is for KDFL merchandise. So if Gurley doesn't, Detroit has to purchase and send to me a Mega Power shirt. And if he does not, I think I'll have to have it made.
I like it.
River Rats shirt sent to Detroit here. One of our bets for this season. But I thought I brought up the bet first to bring up this. Remember we talked about originally an injury clause? I don't think that's fair because I don't think it's fair to you. And I'm having a moment of being a good person right now because the whole story with Gurley is he going to get hurt or not? So that's almost like a free roll for me. If you say, well, if he gets hurt, I'm not on the hook. That's not fair. So take out the injury clause. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. He won't do it. Whatever. I'm looking at these games last year, boys. I'm not worried.
All right. Well,
You should be worried.
Not
Go ahead.
worried.
Go ahead and order. Go ahead and send him your size, Detroit.
I will. 2X, brother.
Whatever. All right. Next up, we go to Elkview, the River Rats. Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver over under 24.5. So basically, is it going to be a running or a wide receiver 2 or better? Detroit, defend your boy here. Let me see what you got.
I think this is a no-brainer. As long as he doesn't get hurt. You got to remember last year, when did Big Ben go out? He went out early. So he had, Hodges throwing him the ball? And who was it that got killed by
Rudolph, Mason Rudolph.
Rudolph, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he was banged up a little last year too. So I think with Big Ben back, this is an easy. He'll be top 20 wide receiver.
Phil, what do you see here, buddy?
Yeah, I was expecting a big year out of him last year, but of course Roethlisberger got hurt. I put him at 11, actually, a number 1 wide receiver. I think he's going to have a really big year, especially compared to last year. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people with Roethlisberger back, especially.
I'm also in on him finishing in the top 24. Big Ben back and healthy. Should be offense, of course. I don't have him near wide receiver 1. I think 20 to 24 is probably his ceiling, at least to me, because he's going to get a lot of the defensive attention. So, and he's not a red zone target. You know who is going to be a red zone target for the Steelers?
Who?
Eric Ebron.
Oh gosh, you had to say.
I'm telling you, he's not. He's going to get lucky in the red zone. Juju does not specialize in that. But I do think this is one of those career-defining years for Juju. So we'll see if he has the right chemistry with Big Ben. It's just always something about those Steelers wide receivers where the number 2 option always seems to have big years. And that's how he got his fame under Antonio Brown. So we will see with Juju. Now, Carlson Methadones. There can only be one choice here after the bashing yet love that the Raiders have gotten from Jonathan Detroit Haynes here. Derek Carr, Las Vegas QB, over under QB 16.5. So the same line that Joe Burrow gets. Is he a top half quarterback in fantasy this year?
Absolutely not. I think he had. I just don't think he's a good quarterback. I mean, granted, he's better than what his brother, but
Brother
I
never got a
just
shot.
yeah, well, he's just not good. I mean, he can manage. I think he'll be. I think the best with Derek Carr is just above average, but I don't even see him being that this year. Go ahead, Matt. Send me the hate mail. I mean, send me the angry text. Go ahead, but Derek Carr is garbage. There, I said it.
Garbage.
Yes.
Gar-
Okay, he's not. He's not garbage. He's just average.
Average is 16. Uh,
Okay, he's
it's
below
the
average.
average
All
line.
right, I changed my mind for the third time there. He's
Back to
just
garbage.
not. No. No, I don't
Recycled
think he's.
garbage at this point.
I mean, I don't think he's good.
Bill, what do you see here with Mr. Carr?
I pretty much agree with everything Detroit said. I don't think he's top 16 and a half. I have him done at 19. I think 16 and a half is probably a ceiling, honestly, on a good season. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to finish that high.
I was gonna say real quick here. I was looking at our fantasy league and projections. Even ESPN has him at like 23. So
Yeah. This was the one I was a little bit shook on where to put the line. I may have put it too low, but I'm here to tell you that he will finish in the top 16. And I don't understand, Detroit, how you
Nope.
can have this team making the playoffs and Derek Carr not having a good season. That doesn't make sense.
It's all about
This
Jacobs.
line,
yeah, I like the running back. I think
this line is one of the better lines in the NFL.
right, and they're going to be a running team.
Well, and he's got better weapons on the outside now, though.
Yeah, let's go to Matt with that. Do we have the video of Matt when they made their draft pick this year?
I think you could see if he stays healthy. I think you could see a much improved season from Derek Carr. And it's not too long ago, he was in the running for MVP the year Matty Ice got it in 2016 until he had an injury versus the Colts. And it kind of hasn't been right since. Both mentally and otherwise, because he seems to check down a decent amount.
So what were you saying? Are you saying he's going to be a top 16?
He's in the top 16. I think they have the weapons. I think the game scripts are going to go their way. I don't think their defense is going to be amazing or anything. So I think they're going to have to.
Someone's afraid of Matt.
No. But I do. I think he'll be inside the top 16. So next up, we will go to Phil's Nightdale Dragons. Our second, I believe it's our second rookie that we're dissecting here. Mr. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back 6.5 is what we have the line at. So a top 6 running back. This is a pretty narrow focus here. So Detroit, go ahead and go first here.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a really big year, but that's off. I mean, that's top 6 running back. No, I don't see that. He's going to. I mean, you got McCaffrey, Barkley, Elliott, Kamara, Cook, Henry. Those 6 right there. I just don't see him being better than them. I haven't even talked about Josh Jacobs or Chubb, guys like that. But I could see him being a top 10 running back, but top 6 is just too high.
Bill, what do you think about your number 1 overall pick this year?
Yeah, it's probably wishful thinking, but I have him at 6, just inside. He may not finish up that high, but I think some rookie running backs have had really good seasons before. But the only thing I could think that would keep him out of that is the Chiefs' offense is loaded, so there may not be enough offense to go around. So that could keep him out. But I'm hoping he's going to be top 6.
Yeah. So Clyde Edwards, in my opinion, you cannot pick a better offense to be a part of right now as far as a running back. Andy Reid has always had top fantasy running backs in his system. We're talking about 15 years of evidence here. I mean, he's even done well without, like, when he didn't have, like, little Sean McCoy or what have you. So, I mean, look what he did with Williams. So, I do have him finishing in the top 6. Now, Phil, when you have him at 6, I'm curious, is Kamara inside or outside your top 6?
I have Kamara at 5.
Okay. So you obviously have – okay, so you would have then Barkley, Mixon, McCaffrey, Kamara, Cook, and
No,
then Hilaire.
no, I have McCaffrey, Elliott, Barkley, Cook, Kamara, and Edwards.
Okay. So, yeah. I know I did a redraft and I took him over Kamara because I think that he's going to have a better year there. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. It's probably the number one unknown of this fantasy season. So, I mean, we remember the good rookie seasons of Barkley, the good rookie seasons of a Zeke. So, yeah, this will be interesting for sure. Now, two more left here. We go to Cross Vegas, and this one's very weird to me. Wide receiver DJ Moore of Carolina. We have the over-under set at 12.5. So, boys, will DJ Moore be a wide receiver 1 this season?
Man, this was a weird one. I didn't realize DJ Moore put up some big numbers like he did.
Yeah, same.
Man, he was almost 1,200 yards, almost 90 catches. And that's with Cam throwing him the ball.
Kyle Allen, too.
Yeah. Now he's stuck with what, Bridgewater?
Mhm.
So I think he's going to finish about 15th this year. I don't see him going to be in the top 12.
What do you see, buddy? This is DJ Moore's right down the road from you.
Yeah, I mean, originally I had him actually in the top 10, but then I thought more about how Cam's not there anymore. And I know Cam was hurt a lot, didn't look like himself anyways, and we're not really sure we're going to get out of Bridgewater. So I dropped him down to 13, actually, just outside.
Okay, so it's exactly what Detroit said. I didn't see this coming, but DJ Moore, I thought he'd been getting a lot of hype, and I delved into the numbers a little bit, and it was there. But I think it's getting a little bit overdone at 12 and a half. Teddy Bridgewater, to me, is a solid quarterback, but he doesn't scream the type of gunslinger you would need to justify being in the top 12. He's not a huge risk taker. He's not going to sling it all over the field. So I'm not really sure how much opportunity there will be, especially when you have a McCaffrey in the backfield that the offense is pretty much going to run through. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have McCaffrey doing what he does as a top 1 or 2 fantasy running back and then have DJ Moore in top 12 unless big things are going to happen in Carolina. So,
I want to switch it up here. I want Brett to go first on this next one because this is the last one we have, and it's Jimmy G, quarterback for the Niners from our defending champion, the Glasgow Gunslingers, and our commish Jeremy Clark. So we have him at 19.5. Will Jimmy G, Brett, finish in the top 20?
Okay. I mean, it's the look. All right, I'm gonna lay it out there. I am out on him finishing in the top 20.
Oh,
top
shocker.
19. So I mean, it is the quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's offense, so I should be able to finish in the top 20 as quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's offense. You would think. But if he can't do this, like if I happen to be right and he doesn't finish in the top 20, I mean, you don't base this off fantasy, but I mean, it's time to like seriously be looking at other options in San Francisco. As wild and as weird as that might sound to say, I mean, if he can't do that, I mean,
hot take.
I mean, it's time to start really considering this because you can't do that in this offense. I mean, I won't be surprised if he finishes in the top 16, but I've been thinking that would happen for years, and it hasn't. So
I cannot. Go ahead, Phil.
Do you remember what Jerm was saying the other day? Instead of Phil, it's going to be
that's exactly what I was going to say. I can't wait to see the hashtag all week.
Yeah, it's going to be somebody else's
Blink
time.
Brett.
I have them going far, and I mean, I like a lot of their players, but this is just weird to me. Go ahead, Phil.
I have them just in, actually. I have them at 18. I don't know why, honestly, because I don't think the Niners are going to be as good this year. I think they're going to take a step back, like I said in our previous episode. So, and I just don't like their offense a whole lot. So I don't know.
That's Homer and me too, loving their offense.
Oh man,
I don't know. But I have them at 18. I have them in somehow. So
okay, so you have them in. All right. So
yeah, I have them in.
I actually, I'm with Brett in a lot of ways here. I'm not a big Jimmy G fan. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't think he does anything that just stands out, that he's outstanding. I don't know what that was for, Phil, but okay.
I just want to show the logo.
I mean,
Okay.
I mean, I guess the best thing Jimmy G does is he's a good-looking man. What can I say?
There you go.
I think 19.5 though. So we're saying if he's better than 13 other starting quarterbacks in the league, I'm gonna have to. I hate to say it, but I think he is. I think I'm with Phil. He's about 18. I just don't think he's a great quarterback.
I mean,
I gave Derek Carr a lot of crap, just because Derek Carr, he had those big seasons and he hasn't been the same. Jimmy G, I'm not a fan. Sorry.
see, that's the thing with me because we have kind of similar rankings a little bit, but I've seen it with Derek Carr. You know what I mean? I've seen him put up the big numbers. When we had Cooper and Crabtree, it's a big deal. So, but I have seen it with him. Yeah.
Did I say that right? By the way, did I say Jimmy G? Basically, what we're saying is that he's only better than 13.
It's West Virginia math.
Okay.
It's close enough.
Okay, that's what I meant.
You didn't use your
But
toes,
yes,
so I'm not sure.
I do think he's better than 13 other starting NFL quarterbacks.
But that's also different too, though, because we're talking fantasy production.
Well, that's true.
And they're two different things because,
I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of his weapons. George Kittle is amazing, but
Debo is healthier than they thought. Like he could come back week 1, so we'll see if he could take a big step. Losing Emmanuel Sanders is kind of tough. But Falcons fan in me, I think Kyle Shanahan, like I said, we could be wide receivers 1 through 3 in that offense, and we're gonna get over.
Well, I look forward to the hashtag this week, blank Brett and blank KDFL podcast.
I'm a bigger
host.
fan of Kyle Shanahan than me, so we'll see. But that's it for in or out. Now, boys, it's finally here. Week 1 of the NFL season, which means week 1 of the KDFL fantasy football season. So, y'all remember from last year, I'll give the game and the line. We'll go through. Detroit will give his pick first, then Phil, and I'll finish it up. So, first up, we have the Marmette Midnight Riders as 12-point favorites traveling to Dogtown to take on the Dobermans. Detroit, go ahead, buddy.
All right, this is a matchup of 2 non-playoff teams from last year. This was Phil's nemesis last year. He always had to take shots at him, so we'll see if that continues. But Dogtown's really they're in bad shape with their weapons. I do like their running backs this week over Mike's running backs. But Mike's definitely got the advantage at wide receiver. I just think the Midnight Riders will win about 10 or 15 points this week.
All right, Phil. So, what do you see?
Well, actually, I think the Dobermans are going to get the upset here in week 1.
Nice.
I think
Back on the bike,
Kate. Starting it early. Roethlisberger being back, I think he's going to put up some big numbers early on. I think he wants to get back into it. Of course, I think Josh Allen is a really good fantasy quarterback. We're not really sure what we're going to get out of Bridgewater for the Midnight Riders, so he does have a lot better weapons overall, I think, but I think some of the Dobermans players could have some big games in week 1 to get out of the gates on fire. So I'm going to go with the upset here.
Okay, so when I was looking at this game, it looks to me like the offenses are kind of split as far as who has the advantage offensively. But we will see what Slate, because I believe Golden Tate's hurt, right? I think he's out, soft tissue injury. So we'll see what Slayton can do if he fills in that role. And when I look at this game, I have to give the defensive edge. The defense of Marmette is going to give them the edge in this game, in my opinion. So I am going with the Marmette Midnight Riders to win week 1. Now, second game up, the Cross Vegas Gamblers head to Poca as 15-point favorites, taking on the Poca Pharmacists, Detroit. What do you see here?
This is going to be my upset of the week. I'm going with Polka Pharmacist. I know that the jury's still out on Cam Akers. He's a rookie running back, so we don't know exactly what his role is going to be. For the gamblers, you got Carson Wentz there going to Washington. I really like Washington's front four, front seven there. I think they'll be able to get after the quarterback this year. However, I'm not sure about James White with New England. What's he going to do? So I'm just, for some reason, I have this as an upset. I think the Polka Pharmacists are going to pull it out this week.
All right, one for the Polka Pharmacist. Phil, what do you see here?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I think the gamblers are going to comfortably win this one. I'm just not liking Lindsey or Akers for the Pharmacist running backs. And I think Evans is going to have a decent season, but I don't think he's going to be that great this year. Where
Right.
I think Godwin's going to get most of the balls, I think. And I think McLaurin is going to have a decent season, but I think DJ Moore is actually going to have a pretty good season as well on the other side. And, of course, Michael Thomas, he should have a big year again as well. So I think the gamblers get the win here.
I need to add to that. I forgot to add that. I'm really a big fan of the Polka Pharmacist linebackers. Defense can rack up some points in this league, and I think he's got some really great linebackers. That's why I'm going with him with the upset. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So when I was looking at this game, I don't think Cam Akers is starting for the Rams, and I think LJ has no choice but to go with them. So I think the Pharmacists have to go with them. But he'll probably have a role, right? He'll be in the game. But I think Malcolm Brown might actually be the starter. So that'll be interesting to see. The wide receiver matchups for the Gamers are extremely juicy. DJ Moore getting Las Vegas with the Raiders. Michael Thomas getting Tampa Bay. That could be a high-scoring game. We'll see. And Adam Thielen taking on the Packers. So I do like their matchups there. Week 1 is going to tell you a lot about the QBs of this team. Daniel Jones getting a tough test in Pittsburgh, and we'll see what Cam Newton can do as a New England Patriot. So I think you're going to have learn a lot about the teams this week. But I am going with the Gamblers as 15-point favorites to win this game. So next up, our first podcaster game. The Nightdale Dragons travel way up north to Hurricane to take on the Wampus Cats. The Nightdale Dragons are 27-point favorites. Troy, give us your expert analysis on this game.
Well, thank you for calling me an expert. I have to say, in my picks, I have Phil winning it all this year. So I'm a big fan of the Nightdale Dragons. They're loaded at running back. They're very good at wide receiver.
Don't do it. You do it.
He could be better at quarterback with the old man Phillip Rivers and Matt overrated Ryan, but I really like his team. So as for Bustin and the Wampus Cats, I think Kyler Murphy's good. I don't like his running back situation, but this I have marked down as the biggest blowout for week 1. And I'm going with you, Phil.
I'm amazed I dodged that. Nice. Phil. That's the biggest blowout, apparently.
Oh.
Phil, what is your call on? Are you going to pick up the win in week 1?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm obviously going to win this one. I do envy his receivers, though. I wish I had Devontae Adams, too. I wish I wouldn't have traded him away. And I think Kyler Murray is going to have a pretty good year. And, of course, DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, he just got paid, and he's a top receiver. So, but I think overall my team is better, so I'm going to have to get the win here.
It is always nice, just a side note in fantasy, where you run into a stack, where he just kind of ran into the stack with Hopkins and Murray now. When, of course, last year he drafted Murray, that wasn't the case. But this is the battle of the new team nicknames, the Wampus Cats and the Dragons. It's very interesting. Strong matchups for Nightdale to begin the season. You got the Hilaire debut. You got Godwin possibly in a shootout. So that'll be fun. I know that the Wampus Cats have to start Tyler Boyd. I think it's too early for him with AJ Green healthy. So I'm a little bit nervous about putting him out there. So my pick is going to be the Nightdale Dragons get a W to start off the season here. Now, the Kanawha County Kings go as 13-point favorites right next door to the Roxelana Renegades. Detroit, what do you see here in this matchup?
Well, the last game I said has the biggest blowout game of the week. Well, this one is the closest game of the week. I think this is going to be tight. We'll see how Drew Brees goes against Tampa Bay for the Kings. McCaffrey is always going to put up numbers, but for some reason I have a feeling he's going to put up – they say right now they have him at like 25 points he's going to put up. I think he's only going to put up about 20. I think Matt Stafford's going to have a huge week for the Renegades. I know I give Fields a hard time for having all those lines in his starting lineup. I think Stafford will keep his team close, but in the end, I think Tim and the Kings will just etch out a close win.
Right. Phil, what do you see in this matchup?
Well, early on, I had this one actually pretty close, as Detroit was saying as well. And I actually had the Renegades getting the win. But then once we picked the Midnight Riders game, I remembered how much I give Mike crap. So I had to change this pick and not give Tim crap and just keep it all on Mike this season. So I'm going to go with the Kings. I think they're actually going to win by about 20 points here. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, yeah. So in looking at this game, I know it has it's a meeting of Stafford versus Breeze, and I know ESPN has Breeze ranked ahead of Stafford, but I actually think that's wrong. I do think that Stafford ends up having the better game. I also think it's pretty neat that you're going to have the Las Vegas Raiders linebackers get a nice little test with Christian McCaffrey. But in the end, it's the same thing. It's just real depth issues for Eric here and the Roxelana Renegades. So I do have the Kanawha County Kings picking up this week 1 win. Now, next up, we have our closest game of the week. It would have been the game of the week if not for a special circumstance of the last game. So we have the Charleston Methadones as 1-point favorites. It's a pick 'em. Traveling to Elkview with the Elkview River Rats. So, Detroit, are you guys going to start the season 1-0 in Elkview?
Well, of course I'm picking myself. I mean, how could I not pick myself? With that said, I was going to actually pick Matt this week. I do love his running backs. However, I think Lamar is just going to have an explosive week. They only have him getting 23 points against Cleveland. I think that's going to be a lot more than that. Juju is going to have a huge week or a huge game against the Giants. Kelsey is going to have a huge game tonight against the Texans. So I think I'm going to etch out about a 6 to 7 point win. Matt's he's loaded at running back and he's got a great QB1, but that QB2 he's got there in Las Vegas. So, that's probably going to come back to haunt me that I said that. But sure. I think I'm going to get the win this week.
All right. Phil, what do you have happening in this matchup?
Well, I mean, this is a really tough one. I mean, we got two, I would say really good teams. You got one really good team, and then the other team is not as good as he was last year. I mean, he still has a really good team. I can't deny it. I really like Russell Wilson, Josh Jacobs, and Kamara. Outside of that, though, I don't really like a whole lot of his other players this week. Like Detroit said, Carr is just not very good. And, of course, I really like Lamar Jackson for the River Rats. I don't think he's going to have as good of a season as he did last year, but I think he's still going to have a really good season.
I agree with you on that.
And for some reason, I'm just high on Smith-Schuster this year with Roethlisberger back. So I think the River Rats are going to pull this one out.
All right. So when I looked at this game, I noticed a lot of overlap, right? You have teammates in real life on opposing teams in this league. So we have, for instance, Lockett and Metcalf both at Atlanta. We also have Chubb and Hunt both going to play Baltimore, playing for the Browns. So that'll be pretty interesting to see what happens there, who wins those matchups. Obviously, I think Chubb's going to outscore Hunt, but I think Hunt will have a much better game and thus year than a lot of people are expecting. A.J. Brown versus Juju. It's kind of like the new and the old versus each other. So, I mean, I know Juju's young, but as far as fantasy production. So that'll be fun to watch. Now, my one issue with this game, DK, I don't know if DK can go off and have a big game without Wilson getting some of it. So that's a little bit of a hedge that the Charleston Methodones might have. And it might not be the most sound logic, but that's my reasoning for thinking the Methodones are going to get a victory here in week 1. I do hope that this game lives up to the billing and is as close as what the projections look like right now. But, yeah, I have the Methodones squeaking out a win.
I'm starting to see a trend here. I think you're really afraid of Matt, to go against Matt on anything.
No.
Yeah, Phil, wouldn't you agree? You notice he just never goes against Matt.
And he always goes against you for some reason. Like, he's not afraid of you. Why isn't he afraid of you?
Let's see how this plays out, because we're going next with our game of the week. It is the commission's
Change that quick.
Yeah, you like how you moved on from that.
No, because of what's happening here. Because of what's happening here was my point. We have the championship ring ceremony game. My beloved Montrose Mega Powers head to Glasgow to watch the commiss raise a banner. I'm going there as 28-point dogs. Terrible. I feel like I've been set up. So Detroit, seeing as how you never pick against me, what will you be picking in this game here?
Well, I mean, Brett, you're going up against a juggernaut. I even hate saying that because the commissioner will have a bigger head than he already does. But with that said, I can't pick your team this week, Brett. We don't know if Gurley's got 2 knees or not. Gibson with the Washington football team. Let's see how he goes and how they're going to use him. I don't expect Marvin Jones to have a good year as he did last year. But needless to say, the commission's got Mahomes, Mixon, Barkley, Elliott, Julio, Kittle. That's just tough. So the good news is, Brett, I think you're going to cover the spread. You're going to lose by 25 this week.
I appreciate that. Phil, what do you have for our first 2020 game of the week?
Well, the good news is I think the Mega Powers, if they're playing 9 other teams in the league, they would get a win this week. But they just happen to be playing the Gunslingers. So I think they're going down by probably 30 to 40 points this week.
It's conspiracy, because to set me up for failure like this in week 1 is ridiculous. The cool thing about this, how my beautiful mind always notices like weird things. This is actually a mirror of the opening game on Thursday, where it's the Super Bowl champs, and I have Deshaun Watson, who's taking on Mahomes. I thought that was pretty cool that mirrored like that. I don't know if Brandon Cooks is going to play, and if he's going to play in a limited role. And I'm also not sure if I want him to play, because what I don't want to have happen that I'm worried about is the Texans don't put up points, and I'm done before we even get to Sunday. So that is what I'm concerned with. But like I said, this could be over early. His matchups, Barkley has a tough one with Pittsburgh. That's about it as far as I can see from really, really tough. So I do have to pick the stupid Gunslingers to get a victory. I hate picking against myself in week 1, but I have a record to maintain. But please believe me, if I pull off this upset, this podcast next week will be unbearable. I just want you to know. Yeah.
Detroit and I aren't even going to be on there if you win.
I don't even know if you need to be. Yeah,
you might be running the show by yourself.
I really might.
Which is probably your goal anyway.
It might be a 3-hour-long solo podcast next week.
Real quick, if Cooks doesn't play, who are you going to be throwing in your line?
If Cooks didn't play, I was going to Lazard really might get a shot. I'm big on him, man. I was so glad that I didn't end up dropping him. Aaron Rodgers has to have a number 2 receiver, and I really think Lazard might get in there. So, or I might look at Judy. We'll just wing it with 2 rookies, my 2 draft picks, my 2 first 2-round draft picks, and see what they can do. But yeah,
just want to let the people know I won this last year, by the way.
Yeah,
prediction-wise.
Good job. Because I meant to bring that up. Detroit did win the KDFL predictions next week, or last year. I'm sorry. So that wraps up for week 1. Now, going forward, next week we will have, it's the first week, everybody's in a good mood. We will have our sports hypothetical mailbag, where we go over, it's always a fun show. So please write in or call in with your hypothetical questions for us to discuss.
I cannot wait to hear them after this podcast.
Right.
I've taken shots at like 3 or 4 different teams. So.
Okay, so also what we're bringing back are NFL betting line locks of the week. So, Detroit, go ahead and sign off and give us your week 1 lock of the week.
My lock of the week is I usually don't do this because I don't like betting on my own team.
Crap.
But I love the Lions -3 against the Bears. The Bears, is Trubisky the quarterback? Did they not say?
Yes, Trubisky is the starter, confirmed.
Yeah, not that it would have mattered anyways, but I think I like the Lions big in week 1. So I'm going with the Lions.
With a kiss of death.
I know. So sorry, Eric. I just took the Lions. So that's my lock of the week. And Brett, you suck.
Terrible. Mr. Phil Ruxy, I'm going to need a lot from you. I'm going to need how the people can get a hold of us as well as your lock of the week.
All right. As always on Twitter, they can follow the show at KDFL Podcast. They can follow you, our host, at Brett Steele 2.
Jerk.
They can follow Detroit at Detroit8374, and they can follow me at Phil Ruxy. And as you were saying earlier, be sure to send us in some messages either through the Twitter or just us individually, or you can give us a call at 901-609-KDFL and leave us a voice message that way, and we may play it on the show next week. And for my lock of the week, I know it is in New Orleans, and I know this team is newly put together with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
the Bucks 3.5, getting 3.5. I mean, come on now, that's got to be the lock of the week.
All right, so Detroit took my.
We sniped both your picks, didn't we?
No, they ain't picking that game.
He just hates my Buck love for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not. No, Detroit -3 was my number 1 love, but we don't want to repeat picks. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins getting 6.5 against New England. I really do like what they're trying to build in Miami, and I like Flores. So we will see if they put it together. But I like the Dolphins getting 6.5 against the Patriots, and for Jonathan Detroit Haynes, for Mr. Phil Ruxy, thank you for listening to the KDFL Fantasy Football Podcast, and we will see you next week. Bang, bang. I don't know how to stop recording.